What a change from a week, huh? Last video, this was all frozen. And we had 6 inches of snow on the ground. What a mess. What a mess. Last night it was so beautiful out. The frogs were peeping in the marsh, and I could hear that the loons were back on the lake over the hill here. So spring is definitely on its way. May 1st today. So what I'm doing today is I am picking up the remnants of the maple project. I'm just picking up the bags that were still on the trees from last week, because now it is birch sap season. Still getting cold at night, enough to have a little skim ice. And this is how much snow we have left. Other than this patch, for the most part, the snow is all gone. I just went and collected all the sap buckets, and I'm gonna clean those and organize them, and then we're gonna decide which birch trees we're gonna tap. You guys are probably sick of tapping videos, but well, there's gonna be at least one more. Hey, what do you got there? What do you got there, river dog? What do you got there? Watch out for the truck. You goofball. Is that a stick toy? Who got this stick toy? Huh? I'm gonna get that stick toy. I'm gonna get it. Your Kong toy's in the cabin. You want me to go get your Kong toy? All right, I'll go get your Kong toy. Well, even I can tell what a birch tree is, so we'll see if they're running at all. Oh, look at that. Well, if maple syrup is 40 to 1 to 50 to 1, somewhere in there, a birch tree is a lot more, but I'm not sure what the exact ratio is. Never made birch syrup before, and I've never even tried birch syrup before. So I have no idea what to expect, other than it's running pretty nice. So this might be interesting. Yeah, these birch are really running. Well, maple syrup season may have been a bust, but by the way these birch are running, this may be our saving grace right here, the birch trees. Which, like I said, I've never even tried birch syrup before. I have no idea if it's good or not. I just know that people make it. But let's give it a try, right? I mean, if it's a free food resource that we can get from the land, I mean, isn't that what this is all about? And even if, what would really be nice is if we got enough to actually sell, like at a farmer's market, or barter for other things. You know, a lot of people do maple sap, but less people do birch syrup. So that may be kind of a little niche market. Let's just see how this tapping thing goes first before we start worrying about getting rich. It's been windy all day yesterday, and last night the wind was just howling. And I noticed that I lost another big chunk of a tree. But one of the projects I have for this spring is to clean this mess up. But some of these pine poles are going to go to make the summer kitchen. So that's kind of why I haven't been just sawing them into pieces, as I want to use them as poles. So I've got a few of them in here that I want to take out and make the best use of them as I can. But obviously this popple here is just going to be firewood. It's always an adventure when I open this shed. Let's see what kind of chaos old Red did this time. Oh boy. Well, I see he got into the seeds again. But I also see that old Red pigged out on the mouse treats. I brought my Ruger squirrel relocator with, and it doesn't look like I'm going to need to use it, which is okay. It's getting to be that time of year where I'm running out of snow for the cooler.
River, watch out. Watch your beak. River, watch out. River, get out of there. Hey. Well, dig it out of there then. If you want to help, dig it out of there. Okay, all right, watch out. Back. Okay, you did a good job now. Let Papa do.
He's like a 3-year-old that always has to help. Oh no, I can do it, Dad. I can do it, Dad. I think we'll let that sit for a while and let the warm air get to that, and maybe some of that frost will melt and we can dig down a little deeper. Can't really get the jack in far enough to get any leverage on it. And the sap bags are doing well. And they're still dripping away. I would guess each bag has, what do you figure that is, a half gallon maybe? Well, the bags are all about the same for volume. So we're definitely going to be boiling tomorrow. Remember when they used to make things that would last for more than a year? There. That should work. I've been wanting to cut down this popple tree, but until I get this widowmaker pulled down, I don't really want to try cutting it. So I thought I would just attach a rope to it and see if I could get enough swinging to it to break it off. If you hear a motor in the background, it's my generator. I've been having some trouble with it surging, so I had it into a small engine class and couldn't figure out the problem. Probably need a new carb on it. But anyway, I had some older gas in it, so I thought, well, I'll bring it up. So I thought, well, I'll run it for a while and burn the old gas out and maybe tinker with it a little bit too. So right now it's just charging my Blue Eddy. And so if you hear it, motor in the background, that's what that's all about. Let's see if we can even move this thing. Pretty solid still. Last time I had a widowmaker like this, somebody told me to take my 12 gauge and shoot it and to break it up. And I didn't bring it with, but maybe that would have worked. I don't know. Maybe I'll tie it to the four-wheeler and try that. Well, I give up on that for now. I think I will try the shotgun method next. I'll have to bring my shotgun up. But the idea was to load it full of slugs and then hit some of those places where it's kind of hanging on still and see if you can break it enough to then drop it. I don't know what else to do at this point other than let nature take its course, but that could be a year. I want this tree out of here. In fact, I'm probably going to cut that one down tomorrow when the wind settles down. And then that one, and then probably that one, and then I want to clean all this junk out of here. And this is where I want to put some garden raised beds and maybe just in the ground garden too, depending on how much sun it gets and how many other trees. Probably have to take out these little pine trees. I don't really want to take out the maples if I don't have to, but we'll see what it looks like when I get the big trees down and get all the logs cleaned up. Let's get this day started. Well, hopefully the plants made it through the winter. I'm really interested to see how the garlic does this spring, since last year was the first time I'd ever planted garlic. Be interested to see if it froze or if it made it, or what the status of it is. Blueberries look like they're alive. That's good. One of the things I'd like to try this year is to propagate blueberries off of these. One of the things I read about was you can take a cutting off of a blueberry plant, put it in water, and it'll root and then make a new plant. That would be pretty handy, especially since blueberry plants are fairly expensive to buy, decent ones. Basically what I've been working on this morning is just kind of clean up in the yard. I hate this time of year. Everything just looks so dirty and trashy and just yuck, you know? But my first project is to get this great big tree cut up and then get these rounds hauled over to the woodshed. I don't know if I'll split them today or not. It's just so muddy over there that I may just stack them for now and come back for them. So it's almost lunchtime now, and I think after, probably in a couple hours, maybe after this tree, we're going to start boiling some of that birch sap. I would guess I have close to 15 gallons already, just in one day. And I'm going to run out of space to store it if I don't boil now. So that will be the plan. I'll probably start boiling, get all the containers emptied out, and then by the time I get the first batch down, I should probably be able to make another loop and get a couple more gallons, I would guess, by late afternoon. It's just running that strong. I don't even know if I'm going to like it. I may end up putting all this work into it, and the end product might not even be good, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. It's too bad the maples didn't run like this. We'd have done all right if that was the case. We better get these bags emptied out before they fall off the trees. This one doesn't look so good. Probably grab that one right now before it falls. That's pretty heavy. Jeez, that was probably almost 2 gallons right there. Holy cow. Careful what you wish for, huh? I think we got 5 gallons already, just on the second tree. I should start my timer so I can get an idea of how long it's going to take. So this stove is a homemade evaporator that I made. I just welded up a basic frame and made it to measure so that these chafing dishes could just nest right inside there and the fire just goes underneath. So the one problem I had with maple syrup that I did 2 weeks ago was the stack was only a single portion, and I ended up getting ash that fell into the syrup, and it actually gave kind of an ashy, smoky taste to the syrup, like not in a good way. You know, smoky maple syrup sounds wonderful, but this had a little bit of ash flavor to it. Totally fine and usable, but not perfect. So we added the extra pipe just for draft and to get the ash away, and then I just put that little elbow on there just to kind of direct it away from the syrup or the sap. So hopefully that takes care of that issue. So far we have a 5-gallon pail in the evaporator and a 5-gallon pail on the ground, and we probably have 10 more bags and buckets to empty, which are about half to 3/4 full. So right now we probably have conservatively 25 gallons of sap, and it's 101, so 100 gallons of birch sap equals 1 gallon of birch syrup. But obviously we don't care about making gallons of syrup. Just a pint for this trial and error year would be awesome. So, but we're just, as long as it's running, we're gonna keep boiling. So this is the last amount of the 15-gallon batch. So now I'm going to filter and move on to 20 gallons, and we still have the 5 buckets to empty, which, oh my gosh, when I felt them, some of them were almost full. So we're going to be at this for a while. Starting the 20 gallons. So this right now on the stove is 20 gallons. You can see that we're getting quite a color change, but to be honest, I just tasted it and there's really not much flavor to it, and it's definitely not sweet. But if it takes 100 to 1 to get product, well, We're a long ways from that. I haven't even collected the buckets yet, and I have 5 buckets out there that are probably 3/4 full. I'm guessing I could have another 25 gallons ready to go, which would put me at 50 gallons, which would put me at a half gallon of finished product. So that would be nice. The weird thing is, I don't even know if I'm gonna like this. If you Google it, it makes it sound like it's more of a savory taste than a sweet taste. So, I don't know, I'll let you know. I have one thing I do know though, is this is looking like it's gonna be an all-nighter. You better head to the marsh with all your buddies. Well, it was a long night. We've made it through 50 gallons of birch sap, and we are down to the final amounts. Like coffee. We are getting very close. Man, this process is taking so much longer than the maple. 220. We're finally there. 221. We are calling it. Forgot my jar funnel. So this is messy. Whoa. Not sure what that was all about. Okay, so the moment of truth. I started this process at, well, I set the bags out in the morning, and what time did I start boiling? I started boiling at 1:30 or 2 o'clock. I boiled just under 50 gallons of sap, and I finally went to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning when my last bucket was put in, and then I set my alarm for every half hour after that, and I got up and stoked the fire and checked on the sap. And then this morning when I got up, I put it on the stove here, and it's been finishing on the stove. It is now 11 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's a lot of hours put into that. And we ended up getting just under 2 pints. I thought we would get 4 pints with 50 gallons, but who knows, we might have lost some. So now, the moment of truth. I don't like it. All that work, and I don't like it. How can I describe this? It has a sweet taste to it. It tastes nothing like maple. Obviously, it's not from a maple tree. There's an element of sweetness to it, and there's even like some gritty sugar. Like, there's definitely sugar in there. But it has more of a... How would you even describe it? How would you describe it? Almost a hint of soy sauce. It's a different taste. It has a... I don't love it, to be honest. And you would not put this on pancakes. I've read that some people can put it on fish. So it's more, I would think, as like a dressing or to drizzle it on something. Yeah, I don't like it. Golly. After all that, oh my gosh, what a waste. Oh well, now we know we've done it, and this is not going to be on the list for next year. I can tell you that. Which is unfortunate because the trees ran so well. All right, well, the kitchen is a disaster, and everything's going to be sticky, sweet sticky. So I want to get this cleaned up as soon as possible before it gets hardened and I have to scrape it off. So I will check back with you guys in a little bit. Oh my gosh, way back in the fall last year, a company sent me this wireless solar-powered security camera that sends the images to your cell phone. It's a subscription-based plan. I don't remember how much it was to activate the card. You know, I tried and I tried to get it to work. I even had my daughter look at it. She's like a little engineer. She just loves putting stuff together and is pretty quick with that kind of stuff. But we couldn't get it to work. We could never get it to activate or to recognize the card to activate. So anyway, I called the company and I just said, hey, the directions on this thing are horrible. I can't even get it to work. I'm certainly not going to do a review on it. In fact, send me a return receipt and I'll ship it. I'll be happy to ship it back to you. Well, the company never followed through with that. They just wrote it off, and I ended up still having the camera. So just recently, I had gotten those Tacticam cell cameras, and in my area, it's a different provider than what it is at the River House. And so I thought, well, maybe if I brought it up here, the SIM card in it would be able to connect with one of the local providers here. And sure enough, I got it to recognize the card and was able to get through the process. So I'm going to install it today, and I'm pretty interested to see how it works. I don't know if I'll do a review on it because honestly, so far it's been a disaster. It just has. So I just unpacked it for the installation, and there's no directions on how even it goes together. I mean, but anyway, the reason I bring this up is, you know, the Tacticams are great because you can send video or pictures to your cell phone. But the thing I liked about these security cameras is you can actually pan it and move it with your cell phone, and you can operate it from your cell phone and take, you know, you just want to scan the yard to see how deep the snow is. You can pan all over, up and down and sideways, and not only does it send images to your phone, but there's also, it gets stored in the cloud and in a card as well. So it's a great security feature, and it has night mode. So I'm pretty interested to see if I can get this set up, how it performs, and I will keep you guys in the loop on that. I wanted to bring it up because I think there's a lot of people with off-grid situations where security is a concern, and something like this might be another option than a game camera. And so I did want to mention it and give you guys a quick peek at it, even though, like I said, I really don't plan to do a review on it because just with this particular model, and it has just not been a pleasant experience so far. So this thing is really going to have to knock my socks off for me to dig into it a little harder on the channel.
Oh shoot, I lost my bit. Doggone it. Don't you hate when you drop something in the grass? Oh, there it is. By golly, found it. You know, the one thing that's kind of neat about this is, I mean, you could hang this in a tree somewhere if you wanted. And because it's solar, you obviously don't need any power source for it, which is nice when you're not on the grid. Okay, well, it looks like I'm online. I wish there was a way to tilt that. Oh, there is. So, look at that. That is so cool. Okay, well, I'm going to give this some time to try out and see how it performs and see what I think of it. And if it's something that I would recommend to you guys, then I will maybe do a review on it and tell the name of the camera and stuff. But I don't want to tell the name quite yet, because if I'm not happy with it, I don't want to disparage the company without doing a full review on it. So just out of fairness. Pretty interested to see how this works out for me. All right, on to the next project. I need to start cleaning this area up. I have a lot of downed logs in here, and they're all so rotted that they're no good for firewood. So I'm going to bring them to a brush landfill and get rid of them there. And I have a ton more to cut in here, that's for sure, but I think this will be probably enough for one load, and we'll get this done and reevaluate. Well, every time I post a video, someone says, please give old River Dog a little belly rub for me, or a pat on the head, or a little smoochy smooch. So just so you know, River, the channel family loves you. You're the star of the show. I've got two little patches of snow left. This one here by the side of the house, and my cooler over here that I'm using for the important things. Well, that's a wrap for this episode. Thanks for hanging out with the old RD and I. Next year, birch syrup is off the list. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you soon. Goodbye, tiny cabin. We will see you very soon. May 5th, and the snow is almost all gone. Just a few patches here and there in the woods. Well, I'm going to show you guys something that maybe some of you from down south have never seen. River, shh. Maybe some of you from down south have never seen before. River, no. Some people call it a quill pig, some people call it a porcupine.
He finally saw me, and there he goes. He actually moved pretty quick once he figured out I was there, but I think they have pretty poor eyesight. There's not a lot of predators that eat them up here except for maybe fisher.